Hey. How are you doing? All right. I hope you are doing well. I went almost a week with no power, no electric, which means no heat, and I had no water for about half of that. So you may notice a big empty spot back here. That is because without having the wonderful power of electricity, I wasn't able to have the heater or the lights that my fantastic, very charming tortoise needs. So George is staying at a friend's house. Power's back, so I just gotta get around. I just gotta get to that side of town and get him back home. But, it's good to have a play date. So, we're going to try this one again. Last time, this one went on a little bit long, and then there were a couple technical issues. So, what I would like to do today is get my fucking things fixed. There we go. All right. What I want to discuss today is the ancient Chinese religion, a true American hero, and the first American, true American, to lose his life. And I would like to share a fantastic channel that I just stumbled upon. Very small channel. I really hope to see it grow. I'm excited about it. And a big future goal of mine, a long walk in Europe, Western Europe, Southwestern Europe. Yeah. So, let us get started. First and foremost, let's get these things adjusted a little better. As much as I love StreamYard, I do wish you could, actually maybe you can. Huh. Don't know. I'll mess with it. I'd like to be able to adjust the layout better. Anyways. So, the first thing I would like to talk about today is the I Ching. Now, I am a huge fan of Taoism. While I'm not a particular practitioner, I am absolutely a fan, and I value the knowledge and the life lessons that can be shared. Now, part of that is the I Ching. I am a rather large fan of the I Ching. I think it gives some wonderful lessons. And I would like to share briefly Hexagram 56, which is Lu, the Wanderer. Now, it is just a simple, very simple image that tells a story that some people can relate to, some better than others, but I'm a big fan of it. But the I Ching, Unless you're a fan of the ninja team from G.I. Joe. The comic books, not the crappy, well, not the TV show. People have a tendency to lump the I Ching in with fortune-telling systems like tarot or tarot. I keep hearing people say tarot and tarot a lot lately. I don't know. Sorry. The I Ching, people want to lump it in with tarot cards or palm reading, astrology. And I would be a liar if I said there are not some similarities, some passing resemblances. In the same way that, a model airplane, or hell, a remote control airplane, has a passing similarity to a B-2 stealth bomber. It's not just the matter of scale, but how well it works. Now, the I Ching is an ancient Chinese text, and the name roughly translates to the Book of Changes. Now, although it's commonly used for divination or fortune telling, that's not its purpose. Now, you also get those who want to argue that it's strictly philosophical and that the divination and the other stuff is nonsensical. That's incorrect as well. You see, the I Ching, you can't just define it with one word or one thing, right? It's got more in common with physics than it does fortune cookies. I know, but hear me out. See, the I Ching is about 4,000 years old, give or take 1,000 or so. It was written by Lao Tzu, and I'm probably saying that wrong. But, well, if you're ever on Jeopardy, Lao Tzu would probably be accepted. Who is Lao Tzu? But, after 3,000 to 6,000 years, facts get a little bit fuzzy on who the author is. Now, the Book of Changes, or the I Ching, is based around a geometric construction called a hexagram. Now, a hexagram consists of 6 horizontal lines stacked vertically. And each line is a solid line, the yang, or a broken line, yin. Now, you may see a similarity with my sacred geometry, my magical math video. And there are some similarities, but they're not exactly related. It's more along lines of ancient cultures from every aspect, every area of the world. There are certain things they have in common. This is one of those. Now, the first religion to outline the qualities of yin and yang was Taoism. Now, the principles of yin and yang have been adopted by Buddhism and Hinduism and a lot of white frat boys going to the tattoo parlor. The yin is primarily characterized as flexibility, and the yang is firmness. Now, over the last few generations, centuries, millennia, This has expanded to encompass different things. Now, Yang. Now, remember, Yang is firmness. Yin is flexibility, right? Yang is male, projecting, like projecting your voice. It's dominant and it's strong. Yin is female, receptive, submissive, and weak. Now, before we get caught up in the male or female, it's not gender studies. Calm down. That's not the point. Also, weak and strong, we get caught up in that sometimes. Let's not forget the four forces of the universe: electricity, magnetism, strong force, and weak force. And no one could say the weak force is, weak. It's radiation. This is why the channel is called The Rambling Doc J and not The Clear, Concise Doc J. Look, all of these are useful for examining various elements of philosophy, but it's made for components of the I Ching itself, and a lot of revisionist tinkering with the original concepts. The main points to remember here are firmness and flexibility. Now, as I say that, if you are going to catch a football, you need flexibility and firmness. If you're going to raise a child, you need to have some flexibility, but some firmness. Knowing when to be strong and when to give. When to adapt, fight, and flight. It's the way the universe works. Sorry. Now, you take 6 lines of the hexagram, right? And you factor in fact, I'm going to share the hexagram that I'm very, very fond of. All right. Make sure that this is working. Yeah. All right. Take the 6 lines of the hexagram and you factor in the yin and the yang qualities of each line. And you get a total of 64 possible combinations, each made up of a pair of trigrams with one of 8 symbolic elemental associations: fire, lake, earth, thunder, water, wind, sky, and mountain. But don't forget, the exact symbol used is going to vary depending on who you're talking to or when you're saying it. And the actual Book of Changes is a dictionary of the meaning of the hexagrams. And while it does vary, essentially, 35 would be advancing. A securely established lord presents many horses and grants an audience 3 times a day, because advance is progress. As for the qualities of the hexagram, above is fire and luminous. Below is earth, receptive. Produce understanding is by receptivity, using the understanding to practice with, and so on and so on. That's 35. Now, my particular obsession at the moment is the Wanderer, right? And it is success through smallness, perseverance, right? That's the meaning of it. Now you have the upper 3, trigram is fire, flame, the clinging. And lower is be still, the mountain, right? Which is strong. Fire on the mountain, the image of the wanderer. Thus, the superior man is clear-minded and cautious in imposing penalties and protracts no lawsuits. And then each line, so you have the full image, then you have the top three, and then you have the bottom three, and then each line tells a different thing, right? Fascinating, boring. Well, I mean, it's really up to the individual. So you're thinking, what the fuck? Really? I am more confused now than when you started talking. And I was pretty confused then. Well, yeah. Look, the book is 3,000 years old, and statistically speaking, you're probably not a Taoist. But there are a lot of mostly Americans, or Westerners, I should say, who believe that the best way to handle the I Ching is to boil it down to something that you might get for a penny from a machine that tells you your weight. So they'll look at 28, Ta Cow, preponderance of the great. The present is embodied in hexagram 28. We see a beam that is weak. Under these, there'll be an advantage in moving in any direction. And you read it like a horoscope. It's not quite that. Well, some people will use it that way. And hey, it's you. It's your book. Do with it as you will. But much like the parables in the Bible, the I Ching tells a story and gives life lessons. It doesn't, I don't think it's multiple thousand year old horoscope. But, you know, there are those that have dug it a little bit deeper than most of us would. And they've broken it down into binary code. Yes, because that's a thing. Now, the binary interpretation of the I Ching is right. You break everything down. You break the trigrams down into multiples of 8, 16, 32, 48, 64. And now I think I'm going to be on the Lost Island. The mathematical complexities are subtle, and they do lead into the astronomical and the divinations side of it. And I don't want to discount any of that. It's just, it's a bit much. It's a bit much for me. I really like to look at the I Ching as a list of stories and life lessons and things you can, improve on. But the binary stuff, there is an outer fringe of the scientific community where people are cataloging the ways the binary code of the I Ching corresponds to the physical world. Yes. The reason why the I Ching works so well in analyzing physical systems is that at its heart, it is a pattern seen in the world. Much like my sacred geometry, it is people looking at the world around them and applying the outer to the inner, right? You look at the world around you, the way the universe is shaped and functions, and you try to apply that to yourself and to your thoughts and your feelings. And yes, and this is how you get trapped in a rabbit hole of quantum physics. And in quantum physics, things tend towards the binary. Now, I don't mean binary code. I mean a one or the other, right? Einstein broke down all the forces, all the powers of the universe to 4. And he died trying to turn them into one singular force. And we have the 2. We have the 2 forces that control the universe. And, you have the duality. You have the light and the dark. Daytime and nighttime. We are always given a choice. As complex as it can be broken down simple enough to firmness versus flexibility, fight or flight. A particle exists or there's empty space. It is in motion or it's not. Yin or yang. Now, I know that seems to really, really be absolutist, but that's where I leave it. But hey, this is a religious text that's heavy on allegory and mathematics and physics, and that's pretty fascinating to me. Does it predict the future? Is it the Farmer's Almanac? I don't know. And I don't know if it's supposed to be. Does it tell your future? I don't know. I don't care. At the end of the day, it teaches you about the universe. And there's no right, there's no wrong. There's no black, there's no white. Everything's blending and leaning one way or the other. But hey, don't take my word for it. But I would say this. Before you go and get a Yin Yang tattoo, maybe you should know just a little something about it. But hey, that's just me, and man, the I Ching's just a tough nut to crack. So, let's go with something more simple and awesome. I love to share channels that I've oh, really? Oh, That's awesome. Sorry. Shrieking Tomato. I stumbled across this. And man, this is a biology student from South Korea who does some reaction videos and some very beautiful commentary as well. Now, I'm not going to play a bunch of her stuff, but I am going to play the channel trailer. Also, I think it's fun. I'm just going to point this out. I gave her a heads up. I said, hey, I'm going to mention you in my podcast. She's not going to copy strike me, and she says she really appreciates it. That's nice. All right. So this is the channel trailer.
Hi, my name is Sajid. I watch Saw. I'm thinking of ending things. Okay, just be natural. What are you doing? Loosen up, dude. They will always be remembered as good people. And they're very much appreciated. I'm still not used to speaking of Chadwick Boseman in past tense. It feels so surreal. Happy birthday, River. You're very much missed. You don't get much chance to say that you appreciate somebody. I don't know what I did there. Get everything wrong. Mac and cheese. I'm not doing this for an hour. It's about to go down. Stage 3, Stage 5, Phase 3, Phase 4, the disappearance. And if you chose to join me by subscribing, I'll see you next Tricky Monday.
I absolutely like it. Very, very charming. Camera absolutely loves this kid. I say kid, college student. Very, very genuine. And I don't have a problem with accents. Well, no one should have a problem with accents. What I mean is, I don't have difficulty understanding a lot of accents. She does have a little bit of an accent. I was watching one of her videos, and she was very much pointing out that she has subtitles for when she mumbles. Sometimes with her accent, it's harder for Westerners to understand. Now, she does a lot of really cool reaction videos. But I would like to share a very short clip from a couple.
John Candy is definitely one of the most beloved comic actors of all time. Second City Television, Stripes, Uncle Buck, Cool Runnings, Splash, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, The Great Outdoors. And who can forget Deadly Companion? John Candy's 1980 thriller saw him alongside Anthony Perkins, the original Norman Bates. Though you can...
Now, I know you want to see more. Go to the channel. I am going to... And it's a very unique name that I really want to know. Shrieking Tomato. Anyways, this is a link in the comment section to the channel. Go watch, subscribe, click like. She also has a very, very touching one about Chadwick Boseman. Shrieking Tomato, I don't know where the name comes from, but I found it very, very interesting. And I love the channel. Please check it out. All right. Now, on to the next topic. It is Black History Month, and I jostled around what I was going to do, right? But it all felt like pandering. And I've always loved Black History Month. It's always been, growing up in the military, especially in Europe, Black History Month was a very somber, at times, and positive. It was a great time to learn about people that aren't always put in the history books. Some people are and should be. Harriet Tubman is one of my absolute favorite human beings to ever walk the earth. She is an American icon. She should be on the $10 bill instead of Hamilton. Harriet Tubman, Black Moses. Well, this gentleman is the first true American killed. The Boston Massacre, while there's a lot to unpack, and we're all taught as kids that it was good, innocent people murdered by evil, awful murderers. It's never that simple. It was people angry at the government attacked some guys that didn't want to be there and shouldn't have been there. And the violence led to the death of an American. Now, I used to love the History Channel, right? History Channel was one of my absolute favorite things back when I had TV. Apparently, that's not a thing anymore, but I mean, it still has a channel, but all right. But I would like to use history.com, which I'm assuming is related to the History Channel, has the same logo. 8 things we know about Crispus Attucks. They're not going to number him. He was multiracial. Yes, he was multiracial, but at the time, and no one thought of him as anything other than black. I mean, Barack Obama is multiracial. Most of us are. But yes, people always remember Obama as the first black president, not the first half, 3/4 black. So yeah, not a big fan of that one. But hey, he escaped slavery. There's Crispus Attucks. True American patriot. Now, the last thing I want to do is try to squeeze the past into life lessons for me to preach to people. I just want to say that this man who was enslaved in America escaped slavery and wanted to build a better country where that sort of thing did not happen. It saddens me that it took so long for slavery to be abolished, but people like Crispus Attucks are why this country is so wonderful. He was a seaman. I knew he was a dock worker. Didn't know he was a sailor. That's fantastic. Apparently, it was one of the few things open to non-white people. That's a funny fact. I had no idea he was big. 6 inches taller than the average American man. Okay. So what is he, like 6'2", 6'3"? John Adams, who was actually the defense attorney of the people who killed Crispus Attucks. He described Attucks as a stout mulatto fellow whose very looks was enough to terrify any person. Just think about that. Our second president is on court transcript saying, that black dude was big. Of course those soldiers were scared. John Adams was a great man in some ways, and he was deeply flawed in other ways. And that just really showcases how awful the times were. He was angry at the British over competition for work. No. So Attucks was drinking in a pub with other seamen when a British soldier wandered in and asked about part-time employment. Attucks cursed at the guy because those damn foreigners were trying to take his job. With Crispus Attucks being a poor man who's just trying to pay the bills and take care of himself, it is most likely that it wasn't some big philosophical belief of freedom as much as it was, I'm just trying to live my life. Can you back the fuck up? The king is just fucking with my life. I just want to do my thing. Fuck off, please. That really does encompass the American spirit. I think, at least my generation. He was a street fighter. Nice. He was hit twice in the chest. I remember This is the part that I do remember being taught. In death, he was afforded honors that no person of color, especially an escaped slave, because let's not forget, he wasn't a freed slave. He was an escaped slave, meaning he was someone's property at the time. So he was owed nothing. Everything was owed to his owner. I know that sickens me. But yes. Dr. King wrote, Black school children know that the first American shed blood in the Revolution that freed this country from British oppression was a black seaman named Crispus Attucks. And I don't know if you were taught that in school, but I damn sure was. Crispus Attucks, true American hero. Crispus Attucks' life prior to the date of his death is kind of shrouded in mystery. We don't know much about him other than his father was a slave brought to America, listed as Prince Younger, and his mother, they believe, using the name as a biggest piece of evidence, Nancy Attucks, who was a Natick native. In the Boston Gazette, Willie Brown, a resident of Framingham, Massachusetts, advertised for the recovery of a runaway slave named Crispus, although spelled differently. It proclaimed that Crispus had run away and was 27 years old and 6'2". In the 20-year interval between his escape from slavery and his death at the hands of British soldiers, he spent most of his time aboard whaling ships. What we do know about him on the day of March 5th, 1770, is that a crowd of colonists gathered and started taunting a group of soldiers. When tension mounted, one of the soldiers was hit with an oyster shell, and they emptied their muskets. Attucks was the first to fall. 2 other Americans died right after, and then 2 more died later. He was the first man to lose his life in the cause for American independence. His body was carried to Faneuil Hall, where it lay in state until March 8th, when all 5 victims were buried in a common grave. He is the only victim whose name is widely remembered because in 1888, he had a monument unveiled in the Boston Commons. I always remember the name Crispus Attucks as the first American to die. It was drilled into our head. And this was the mid-80s. An American Academy in Germany. Military Academy. Now, I had plans to do a video for Black History Month, but it gets pushed so, everything has become so ideologically driven. Identity politics has caused a backlash. And celebrating someone like Herschel Walker, my all-time favorite football player, or the struggles that Warren Moon had to go through in order to make it to the NFL. I mean, he spent 6 years in the Canadian Football League, where he won the championship 5 of those 6 years. The guy is he is arguably the GOAT. Everything you can say about Tom Brady, you could say about Warren Moon. But hey, with so much identity politics being pushed, it causes people to take sides. And man, I never want Crispus Attucks to be some identity politics or bullshit pandering. Dude gave his life for this country. First American to lose his life. That should be honored. That should be remembered. Identity politics be damned. And the other 11 months of the year, people should remember the first American to die fighting for your freedom was a black man named Crispus Attucks. Badass name, too. All right. Now, the last topic. See, I believe where I went wrong in the past was I tried to do 5. And that's just dumb. Now, this is going to absolutely cause me to not get monetized for this video, but that's okay. The last subject I would like to cover is the Way of St. James. Now, the Way of St. James is also called the Camino de Santiago, or the Pilgrimage of Compostela, or the Way of St. James. It is a network of pilgrims' ways or pilgrimages leading to the shrine of the Apostle St. James the Great in the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela in Galicia in northwestern Spain, where tradition has it that the remains of the saints are buried there. Many follow its routes as a form of spiritual path or retreat from for their spiritual growth. It is also popular with hiking and cycling enthusiasts. There are organized tour groups. Now, UNESCO also lists, they call it the French Way, the routes on its heritage list. Now, I discovered this when I was on a plane, and it was Lufthansa. And there was a movie by, here we go. There was a Emilio Estevez movie. Pretty cool. And it's called The Way, which is kind of cool. I watched it, and it was sweet. It was pretty cool. And I watched it a couple times. And sometimes something gives you this desire to do something, right? To prove something, to challenge yourself, right? Quit smoking. Yes, I quit smoking. It's been 3-4 years. 3 years. Very proud of that. It wasn't easy. It was a lot easier for me than it is for most. And I understand the struggle people have. I quit drinking. I reached my 10 years of sobriety. Then started drinking again. But drinking hasn't caused any major issues for me. So I'm not an alcoholic. All right? I'm not an alcoholic. Damn it, Mom. I told you. No more interventions. I know, not something funny to joke about. Well, okay, it's funny. It's just not appropriate to joke about. Well, the way of St. James, I'm like, cool, man, do something. So I decided when I got out of the Army and I retired, for my 40th birthday, I was going to run a half marathon. Yeah. Something to keep me in shape and whatnot. Well, apparently, my body disagreed and I became a cripple. That may be offensive to some, so I became a worthless handicap cripple. How's that? Now I do my hiking videos here and there, but yeah, it's difficult. And I changed my goal once I hit 40 and wasn't able to do a half marathon. I changed my goal to do this pilgrimage. Or the Appalachian Trail. I'd much rather do this, but, it might be difficult to get to Europe for a while. Anyways, enough bullshit. Let me share you the movie trailer that got me so damn interested.
You should fly with me. Come on, a father-son trip. It'll be fun.
Yeah, right. You know, most people don't have the luxury of just picking up and leaving it all behind, Daniel.
We agreed that if I let you take me to the airport, you wouldn't lecture me about how I'm ruining my life.
I lied. Hello.
Are you the father of Daniel Avery? He was walking the road to Santiago de Compostela, 800 kilometers on the northwestern coast of Spain. This is everything he had when we found him. People have walked the path for over 1,000 years. The way is a very personal journey, Mr. Avery.
Daniel was my only child. We're gonna walk the Camino to Santiago, both of us.
Tom, this is the way.
Hi, I'm Joost. There's no mystery why I'm doing this trick. Oh, look at cheesemakers. Hola. Hey, don't wait. Yeah, you should try some.
No, thanks.
Stop! Come with me. Wait, I'm from Amsterdam.
Dutch, huh?
What are you looking to score?
I love this guy.
It wears off quick, I promise.
Hello, I'm Jack from Ireland.
How long have you been out here?
On the Camino or on this particular spot?
You pick.
Well, geez, it's hard to say.
So what is it, on pilgrimage to change your life?
Something like that.
Dead books with the ashes.
My son.
That's brilliant. I'm tragic, of course, but brilliant. Oh, no!
Tom, your son. I am so sorry. I had no idea.
My son was almost 40.
Yeah, but he'll always be your baby.
What was your son like?
Smart, confident, stubborn, pissed me off a lot. Was a lot like you. Hey, that kid's up my bag. Hey! Hey! You can keep the pack! Just give me the box!
You don't choose a life, Dad. You live one.
But you can do this on a bike? Why the hell are we walking?
Sorry. Mic was muted. So yeah. Worthless, broken cripple that I am. I would like to do something like that. I think think it would be nice. I regularly like to do my cross-country drives. I say regularly. I drive cross-country when the opportunity arrives. I can't say I'm homeless. That sounds awful. I'm not homeless. I am fluid. I am blessed with nothing to tie me down where I can travel. I would like to do the Way of St. James. Appalachian Trail is my backup plan. So it would be glorious and wonderful if I can, at some point, do a drunken, lame ass travel vlog. The broken cripple doing the way. I would like that quite a bit. Well, that is going to wrap up my podcast. I would like to go out with a song or two. Just trying to pick the one. Oh, naturally. All right. So I would like to play you out first with my dear, dear friend and my at least one time, probably 3 or 4 time mentor, Skinny Devil. I've known this guy a few decades now, and I used to be the young teenager hanging out with the 40-year-old. Now, I look older than him. Anyways, here he is, rocking out. By the way, I requested this song.
On a train, I met a dame, kinda handsome, kinda look the same. Betty from New York City, walking down that old time lane. I'm in heat, I'm in love, but I just couldn't tell her so. Drink kept a rolling all night long, drink kept a rolling all night long, and the train kept a rolling all night long, drink kept a rolling all night long. I'm in heat, I'm in love, and I just couldn't tell her no. Sweet a little woman, get along. Sweet a little doggy, get along. Sweet a little woman, get along. Sweet little woman, get along. I'm in love, just couldn't tell her so. Drink kept a rolling all night long. 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 I'm in heat, I'm in love, I couldn't tell her no. You're a stop in Albuquerque. You must have thought I was a real cool jerky. Got a train and put her hands up. Looking so good, Jack, I couldn't let it go. I'm in here. Just couldn't tell her no. Train kept rolling all night long. 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 I'm in it. Love, but I just couldn't tell her no. Train kept rolling all night long. Train kept rolling all night long. Train kept rolling all night long. Train kept rolling all night long.
Man, oh man, oh man. Absolutely one of the most talented musicians I can think of. And I don't mean local musicians or people I personally know. No, this guy's got a long, storied career of just being a badass. Underachiever, by the way, sir. All right, now I'm gonna toss one last one up, and then we will call it a quit for the night. I may do an after-hour stream, though. Now, I stumbled across a family, really cool family, nice people. I'm not going to say location or anything like that. They're the Night Owls. Now, I'm going to share their Facebook real quick. The Night Owls. Check them out on Facebook. And I will close it out with one of their songs. Great family band. Let us just close out with listening to them.
She never mentions the word addiction. Insert and calm. Yeah, she tells you she's an orphan after you meet her family. She paints her eyes black as night now. gives me a smile. Pain's gonna make everything alright. That she talks to angels. Call her by her name. Oh yeah, she talks to angels. Say, call her by her name. Just keeps her like her hair in a pocket.
Man, oh man. The night owls. Now, what they say on their Facebook and their MeTube channel is we cleaned out the basement and bought some musical instruments. Don't want to say all their names. So you got dad on guitar. You got daughter on keyboards and singing. You have son on bass. Sometimes plays guitar. And then you have son on drums. And honestly, you can tell which one I think. I'm probably wrong, but I think you can tell who chooses the song. Because, man, you'll get one and the bass is just thumping. And you can tell son on the bass is just super, just like, that's my song. And when daughter, who's singing and doing keyboards, when she is really into the song, when it's one of hers, she does like the my crippled ass made that look stupid. She does the Davy Jones, Axl Rose, rocker thing. Check them out. They are super fun and entertaining. Now, remember, this is a family. I don't know anything about this and that. I just know it is a family that is rocking together. How more wholesome could you possibly get? So please, please, please check out their stuff and don't be an asshole and do non-wholesome things to a family. All right. So this has been Rambling Episode 3. I do hope that you enjoyed it. And please like and subscribe. I am on other platforms, Odyssey and BitChute. I am on Parler and Gab, as well as Twitter. I am always very, very much interested in conversations and comments. What I'm not interested in is sauerkraut. I don't like sauerkraut. And I can tolerate a lot of things, right? Different viewpoints, different thought processes. I am willing to reach out to all people. But sauerkraut, no. I have to draw the line at sauerkraut. Anyways, thank you. It is great to have my electricity and my water back. But honestly, I really needed this therapy session, because that's what my podcast is. All right, I am hoping to jump in with Splattervision tomorrow on his channel. Got to check him out. Fantastic, much more talented YouTuber than I am. And be safe. Have fun. And remember, like and subscribe.